Welcome to the newest episode of the Process of Fat Loss, where our goal is to help you understand the best way to lose fat and live a healthier life. Join us as we discuss some of the toughest and most valuable topics in health and fitness. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's at the core of GCP. It's one of the reasons we started this podcast, and it's change. So it's one of our core values. It's actually the acronym we use for all of our core values. And if you're ever here at the gym, you'll see it. We have it written all over on the walls, on posters, banners, things like that. Sometimes you love change, sometimes you don't. But whenever you're looking for results, change needs to happen in some form. So what would you say is the most common way people view change?
I mean, it's one of the most hated words out there. I mean, literally the word change, just people cringe when they hear it, which kind of is mind-blowing to me because I love change. So today we're just really going to discuss why it's important that you need to change for getting results, because everything that I always tell people we're looking through this very specific spectrum. When we talk at GCP, we talk about results, weight loss, change, transformation. Everything's about getting and moving forward. So we got to make sure we're looking down that spectrum, as you need to have change to get those results. And it's honestly not as difficult as it may seem. And we're going to talk about why it's not as difficult and also why people are a little bit resistant to change.
So as I kind of hyped it up in the intro, we really value change here at GCP, and like you kind of just talked about. But why is change so important, and why can't people just get results from what they're currently doing?
So I'm going to start off with a quote that's pretty famous that people usually have heard, and I think they forget it a lot. But insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Well, for some people, they're always going to try to do the same things, the same old things, and never really make change in their life. Yes, they may buckle down and do a diet for 30, 60 days, but always with the intention of going back to the eating lifestyle they had just had. Well, that's complete insanity, right? Because the reason that you were where you were is because of the choices you had been making. So you need to make different choices. You need to eat differently, train differently, have different hobbies, spend time with different people, etc. Maybe not all those things. You don't have to do all those at once or make all those changes total, but you definitely do need to make some changes. You need to make some changes and do them with a certain goal in mind. You have to make those changes that move you closer to your goal, right? So maybe your friends are already great. You don't need to change friends if your friends are really supportive of your goals. But you know you eat bad, so that's the change you need to make. But you do need to make a specific change that moves you towards your goal. The best way to figure out how to achieve that goal or what you need to change, besides asking your GCP coaches, because you can always reach out to us and ask us, like, hey, I want to make a transformation. I want to change. What can I do? Ask coaches in class. Email us. We always will help with that. That's our goal, is to help you. We want people to raise their hand and say, I want to change. Cool. We'll take it from there. We will help guide you. But most people don't do that. So besides asking the coaches, is to find someone that you think has the lifestyle that you want or the change that you want, and start to model your habits after theirs. Jacked people, so jacked, like ripped, like physically fit people, never miss their lifts. Lean people eat low carb, and they rarely cheat on their plan, right? When you see someone that is where you want to be, they most likely are very religious about doing the habits that got them there day in and day out. They aren't people that like go eat really nice for 6 weeks and then eat like crap for 4 months. They would gain body fat just like you did. So the idea is they have habits that they put in place and they do it religiously well forever.
So change is not always easy, and it takes effort and isn't always the most comfortable thing. Which is why it's often avoided. So how can someone make it less difficult to change, even if it seems like it's impossible?
Habits are the key to making things less difficult. We talk about habits so much. Habits are small little actions we create to move ourselves in a different direction than our current ones we have, the current direction we're on. Because we can make these habits so extremely simple to start, and you can slowly progress them to more difficult things as you improve, it makes change super easy, right? So an example would be let's use water as the example. Your long-term change should be that you're drinking 70 ounces of water a day forever, right? You always want to be drinking at least 70 ounces of water a day. For somebody that's drinking maybe 20 ounces of water, that sounds daunting, right? But let's say, okay, we're going to start off with drinking just 10 ounces of water every single day for 3 weeks. Much easier now. Only 10 ounces. I'm already drinking more than that. I'm drinking 20 ounces. Cool. Let's just start simple, though. Let's just make sure we can do the 10. So we did that for a couple weeks. Now we go move it to 20. Okay, I'm doing 20 pretty good. You just did increase by 10 ounces, and you just killed it by increasing by, you doubled the amount of water you're drinking. And then we just keep moving up from there. We go to 30 ounces, 40 ounces, 50, until you eventually 70 ounces. It's like, it was simple because we just slowly added a little bit more. The problem is most people, when they try to do change, is they go from drinking 20 ounces of water to 70 in one day, and they start to fight back against that, right? Or I think exercise is a better example of this, is people go from not working out at all to try to work out 6 days a week, and that's a humongous amount of difference there, right? So the idea is that's a huge change on the body, and that makes it very difficult. But if you went from not working out at all to working out 1 time a week, and then eventually going to 2 times a week, and then going to 3 times a week, your body would adjust over time, and it would become easier and easier for you to make that little bit of progress to go from 2 to 3 than it was to go from 0 to 6.
So the whole reason we decided to discuss this topic is because of how important it is. But if everyone is always excited to change, and like you said, we want people to be excited, but if everyone was always excited and never avoided it, we wouldn't need to talk about it on the show. People would be eager to change, raising their hand all the time. So why are people often so resistant to change?
Yeah, like you said, it seems like we shouldn't have to talk about this, right? Because it's like people join a gym and they want to, like, you would think, change, right? They would want to transform their body and all this kind of stuff. But we get people, I would say majority of people come in are very resistant to change. So one reason that most people don't actually want, are resistant to it, right, are going to be that they just don't have a plan. They don't have a plan to achieve the goal. They see this goal, but they don't really know how to get it. If you have a laid out plan, even a simple plan, then you have you'll be able to have a roadmap that makes it so it's not so daunting. Our goal is to make every single ability to change easier to do, right? So when people are resistant to it, it's such a big daunting task, and their brain doesn't know how to function on it. So people also want to be perfect about doing everything. So when they go to do change, it's so far off, they can't make that huge life-altering change because it has to be perfect. So an example here is, like, let's say a perfect workout routine is, and this is not what we recommend, but like a perfect workout routine was 6 days a week, right? That's the perfect routine. And if you did that and people are like, oh, I can't do it 6 days a week, so I'm just not going to even try, because if I can't do it perfect, I can't do it at all. But that's what the idea is. Like, people are looking too much for perfection, and their plan should be simpler. Like, 1 time a week is still better than nothing, right? So people always have this issue. They want to be perfect. And they also want to just bite off way more than they can chew, because even if that person's like, oh, hey, I don't need to be perfect, but I'm still going to go 5 days a week because I can't make a 6, that's still good. But realistically, it would have been better to do 2 days a week and work your way into that. So the resistance to change is people try to take just on way too much, or they think about way too far down the road and not what's right in front of them. That's why we're so big on habits, because we need to chunk it down so we don't get stressed about the massive change that's happening in your life. If people were okay with things taking about a year to change, then habits would be so much easier for them. They could make these super small habits over a year, and it'll almost be like the change never really happened, because the progress from one habit to the other was so small. Like I told you, 10 ounces of water to 20 ounces of water. It's such a small little change that, like, it doesn't even feel like they're changing, because it's so simple for their body to do. But the problem is people are horrible about, they want it to happen in 2 to 3 months instead of taking a year to do it. People need to give themselves a longer time. The last component of why people are resistant to change is it takes work. Change is not usually something that's super simple. You're going to have to uproot the certain parts of your life, but if you are unhappy, then that's really not that big a deal, right? So you're going to have to make some big changes and uproot, like, your eating habits. But if you're not happy about how you look, how you feel, it shouldn't be that big a deal to uproot those habits. But it is hard work, because changing your eating habits are hard. It's simple to do, but it's still hard. The things you are uprooting will hopefully bring you happiness. So we just always say, why don't you gamble on yourself? You can't be more unhappy than you are currently. I mean, I guess most people could always be a little bit more unhappy than they currently are. But the idea is you're in an unhappy place, most likely, if you're looking for change. So we might as well start to, like, do things that move us in the right direction. But let's have a plan for that, so that we don't have so much resistance against it.
So what's your main point that people can take away from what we just talked about?
Change is actually a really good thing. It's taking you out of the position you are in, your current position that you are in your life, and it puts you in the right now and putting you in the spot that you really want to be in, right? So yes, it's going to take some work, but if you break it down to small little habits and you make them super easy and pretty seamless to enter into your life, you can do it relatively easy, and then you just got to give yourself a long enough period of time for it. So give yourself a long time, have a plan to do it, and change is not that hard.
Yeah, like you said, like Trevor was saying, if you break it down to those steps, have a plan, then it becomes a lot easier. I hope you guys listening are willing to take some action and make some change. I hope you guys have all enjoyed our discussion on today's topic. Remember, the best time to start living healthier is today, so make sure to take action and make that change in your life right away. If you enjoyed our episode, please give us a review. You can do that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or share us with anyone that you think might be interested in this podcast. You can subscribe and follow us on social media as well to stay up to date with any future episodes or different things we're talking about on there. If you have any ideas for topics that you'd like us to discuss, you can definitely send us an email, leave us a comment, or send us a message on social media so we can get those topics and we can talk about them on a podcast. So just let us know anything that you want to learn about. Thanks again for listening, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode, and join us for the next episode of The Process of Fat Loss.
All right, guys, I'm going to leave you with that quote one more time. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So let's start to change because nobody wants to be insane.